dozen people. Oh, and we've got trouble on the track, and it's Kyle Busch upside down.
Big time crash. Kyle Busch goes upside down and rolls down across on his roof here on lap 26. Cars comes back over, and now side over side, barrel rolls. And comes to rest on its wheels. A horrific crash here at Talladega on lap 26 involving Kyle Busch, and thankfully the window net is down the car.
He moved to the outside to go around Casey Mears. It looked like Tony was going to go out there to help him, and it could have possibly been a little bit of contact. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be, because you can get yourself out there and all of a sudden the air's changing, and just a horrific wreck. But once again, Kyle Busch gets out and walks away.
We sure did a lot of damage. It looked to me like right here, as we watch this, it looked like that maybe they all started stacking up. It's hard to say that, you know, Tony Stewart wasn't getting some help from behind him, maybe even further back than right behind him. Like they're all just kind of stacking up.
Yeah. Yeah, when that happens, usually because everything changes, that the air changes, and what you've been doing right there, you might have been wide open at that time, and then all of a sudden things change. And so, yeah, you can't put any blame on anybody, I don't think, here. Although I think we do see a little contact between the 33 and the 5. But when he pulls out there, that car is automatically going to start coming back a little bit, because he's come out against a brick wall of wind right there. Even though he's got to run, that car automatically slows down when he pulls out there until he starts getting that help.
So if you're Tony Stewart, and you're trying to get out of the gas and you're getting hit from behind, have you ever had that happen where you get hit from behind and you can't actually slow your car down and try to avoid that wreck?
Somewhat.
He's still got to get through 2 and 3 on the first lap. Ricky Rudd gets the jump. He's the early leader. Oh, trouble! Steve Park is off into the infield. Another car valve over on his lid. It's Parkindale Jr. Terrible crash.
Man, Steve Park's car just turned dead left when he came off turn 2. Junior is running to see his teammate and see if he's okay.
There's Rusty Wallace. You see Park trying to squeeze up the outside.
I see he was trying to go on the outside of Rusty. Rusty moves up, they make contact, and Junior gets under the one car and just kind of bulldozed him into the wall and over.
Yeah, that's what actually turned him even more sideways. But I'll tell you what, that guardrail did the job.
Oh, it did a great job.
Took a lot of, that absorbed a lot of impact right there.
What's a yellow car back there? Just turn left.
And when you hit wet grass, it feels like you pick up 200 mile an hour.
But you can see how that barrier gave way when
absolutely.
that car got into it.
That barrier absorbed a lot of energy, and I'll tell you what, that nice to see happen, because if that were a concrete wall, he would have taken a much harder hit.
One more shot. Rusty's right in the middle of the racetrack. Steve Park's going on the outside, but Rusty decides to come up to the outside line, not realizing that Steve was there. They made contact, and the ride is on.
Look at that barrier give. Thank goodness.
But again, that's one reason that Steve was able to walk away arm in arm with Dale Earnhardt Jr. because of that wall that did give.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And you know, the spotters on the roof here at Pocono are a long way away from where Rusty Wallace and Steve Park were racing over there.
Kevin Harvick taking an opportunity to fill up here. Just going to be, I think, 2 tires on this stop. This car just loose early on in this race, but they did settle down much better.
Straight away. 48 hit, and Jimmy Johnson goes spinning.
Down. Busher. Oh, man.
Chris Busher on his lid and lands back on his wheels. Caution.
Oh, man, we saw 4 wide off the corner over there. I was afraid of this.
Michael Annett involved.
You'll see it right in there where they're 4 wide coming off the corner. You see the 3 on the outside. That's
the 35 Gilliland above the 3. Now McMurray in the 1, the red car, comes up, just brushes Austin Dillon.
Turns him into the 35.
And Dillon gets into Gilliland. Joey Logano turned the 48. And Busher goes for a big tumble.
I didn't think that thing was going to stop rolling there for a second, DW.
Goodness.
In this one at lap 96, 4 wide. The red number 1 of Jamie McMurray tips into Austin Dillon's number 3, which pins David Gilliland to the wall. Jimmy Johnson and Michael Annett go spinning. There's Annett's car into the wall.
Oh, trouble! Multi-car back in the front of the field. Oh, and Scott Riggs on his roof.
tracks. Man, there's been a lot of cars getting on the roof lately.
Right behind Mike Wallace.
Stay in front of you. Stay up, stay up. Easy, back it down as much as you can.
Wow. Oh, not what you want to see out of your windshield.
Oh my gosh.
I'm okay, I'm okay.
But you're racing such tight quarters that it's just being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Scott waving to the crowd. Attaboy, Scotty. From Bahama, North Carolina.
Inside the FTP Brake Chevrolet back up front. Mark Martin has picked up where he left off before. One car spinning, the car number 41.
Johnny Benson, as a car takes a roll as it slid backwards. Apparently the air just picked the back end of it up and around and rolling over. Here they come back to the start-finish line. Mark Martin will lead them through the start-finish line.
Caution being shown for the first time today. A violent crash. What happened?
Well, it looks like he might have been tagged by a car, Jared. There was a pack of cars running together, and then it gets backwards, and you see the spoiler sticking up there. The air gets under it and lifts the back end up, and then it just starts rolling over in the grassed area on the backstretch here at the Michigan International Speedway. Fortunately, it does not get over into that guardrail, but that's a pretty serious-looking crash, but it lands on its wheels.
Different angle again for that scary crash here in the early laps, looking across the racetrack. You see the rear of the car starting to get off the ground. You'll get a sense of actually how high this car will lift here as it came off the ground and begins to tumble. Higher than some of the scaffolds there where our cameras are located.
Well, Jerry, the speeds have increased so much here at the Michigan International Speedway in the last couple of years, and in this race in particular, Goodyear has some awfully good tires now that are running fast.
Down on the back straightaway.
Carl Long has crashed hard and collected Bobby Labonte in the process. Somebody hits.
Oh, he just gets hooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brendan Gaughan got into the back of Joe Nemechek in the 01. Brendan Gaughan in 77.
And Carl Long goes for the wild ride.
And that's all on driver's side right there, sliding down the racetrack. Now she starts to tumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5.5, 6 times. That's when you call your crew and you would say, "You won't believe what I just saw."
And there is Carl Long. He is okay. The Al Smith dot.
He's going to get a tap here, Ned, as he comes off the tri-oval down on the inside of the racetrack.
Right there. He gets touched right there. Now, this car goes way up in the air. When it turns around, you see it start to fly there. Turns completely up and pancakes right down on the roof.
That's what did all that roof damage you were talking about. Then it goes into a barrel roll.
Side over side, many, many times. Now it's on the nose of the car and then hits hard on the back.
That looked much like Ricky Rudd's flip here in 1984 in what was then the Busch Clash. Here's another look. Chase Sauter has a little push coming out of the tri-oval and just gets into Waltrip.
And they were just coming out of the tri-oval, and at that point of the racetrack, you're almost out of control anyway, buddy, and just a little tap sent him around.
Absolutely. And the other thing, the roof flaps couldn't work because it went around so quickly, and the minute the back addressed the air, it went straight up in the air.
Buddy, the pits are open. Dick Berggren.
Kevin Harvick is in. He is going to take 2